Winter Wonderland. It's your morning marijuana motivation time. I'm your host with the most is Marquis Saint, and every morning I get up and I am blessed to be. So are you. Some days are easier than others. That's why we get our minds right every morning. And this morning is no different. Getting my marijuana motivation on. If you'd like to join me, woo, like to join me. Then please do. We're going to talk about today who's running you. And it's going to be a real quick conversation because most of us, we are run on habits and we don't even know what our habits are and why we're doing the things that we're doing. And this morning, we're going to jump into that. Let's get the walk in. Blessed to be alive. Blessed to have my life. Some days, lately, this last week, an unwanted abortionist threw me into an unwanted depression, and I wanted to talk openly about it because then that dictates what's going on in my life and what I let run in my life, right? So a lot of us are emotional. I grew up as an emotional child. When you have deep emotions, you can do deep drugs. You know, let me get this. I can barely see myself going on here. There we are. Boom, boom. It works like that. There we go. Now I can see the sunshine. When you're emotional, you can process things that aren't really there. You could come up with a grudge that's not even there. You know, you could be all up in your head and create things that don't exist. And that's why we have to slow down and ask ourselves, what am I creating with my mind? What am I focused on in the morning? Do I sit there, meditate, and manifest something of a different reality? And do I keep giving myself the same shit over and over again? And that's how you know if you got mind control. You know, by the time you start processing things properly, you no longer see things for what they aren't, but for what they really are. Like, I really am out in the middle of these streets, yo. Ain't nobody out here for miles. Look at this, out in the middle of nowhere, yo. Ain't nobody out here. Brainerd, what's up with it? But what's up with my brain is that I can choose to go for walks. I can choose to stay in the sun. I can choose to put on my clothes. I can choose to stretch. I can choose to meditate. And then that way I get a chance to run my own mind. And it's so important to give your mind a chance. You know, we got so many distractions out there. Fast foods, issues, you name it. It's all one thing that keeping us away from being our better selves. And that's what something I wanted everyone to have was a chance. Like we talked about yesterday, real serotonin, real endorphins, real dopamine, instead of all this fake shit that we put inside of ourselves. And that's why we have to talk about what's real to us. You know, if you're running yourself, then you don't need someone else's esteem to have self-esteem. If you're running yourself, what they're saying to you doesn't apply to you, right? Unless you want it to hit home, unless you feel fat, they call you fat, then there won't be anywhere to hit or for it to stick. And that's when you know who's running you. So if you're running yourself, it doesn't matter what other people say. You'll always have the strength of your own wisdom and mind to process it properly without being triggered, without lashing out, without even really owning it, right? You're like, that's not me. That's not me. That's you. That's you trying to project onto me. A strong person doesn't have issues with projection. It's like rubber and glue. It's like a kid again. It's like when it bounces off of me, it sticks to you. If you're emotional, then you let that bitch ride, and now they're riding you. They're literally on your back riding you with their issues, and you're accepting it. And that's something I can't accept as someone else running my mind. That's how I quit smoking cigarettes, was I was like, this thing's just going to my mouth, getting lit before I can even concentrate, before I can even cognate. My hand was taking over my body, basically, and getting me to ingest something that wasn't really healthy for me. And that's when you know who's running you, right? If the cigarette company is going to run you, they're going to run you your whole life. They will run you till they take your teeth, your skin, and all your money. And this is the truth of it. So you got to ask yourself, who's running me? Last year I did my taxes. Taco Bell was running me, bro. Taco Bell. I had to sit there in front of the lady maybe 50 times. Another Taco Bell receipt, another Taco Bell receipt. And I'm just like saying, this is a habit you got to break. You got to get over fast food. You know, like when I'm chipping away at my addictions, the next ones are anger, sugar, and fast food. Like it's got to go. And they're not very useful. I mean, cocaine wasn't that very useful, so it was easier to go. But when you're hungry and you need some food, you got to ask yourself, am I going to juice myself? Am I going to give myself the proper start that I need to keep this awesome body that keeps me alive and warm and healthy and walking? Am I going to give it what it needs, or am I going to self-sabotage myself and give me what I feel? And that's something we don't talk about. My gym's overseas. It's look good, feel good, man. You want to feel it inside of you. You want to feel strong. You don't want to feel weak anymore or let someone else dictate your mind and can come over and just push your blocks over and just like a kid and be like, yeah, push your blocks over. And you're like, no, man, these blocks are built out of concrete. You gabadosh. That means you got a head of concrete. That's some people that can't listen. For those that can adjust, all of a sudden you're free to be who you want to be. You're free to shine. You're free to have your own mental state. It's not based on someone else. You're not codependent. That shit's scary, dude. You don't want to be somebody else's source of happiness. Oh, I saw this, the snow coming off. It looks like it's snowing again. You want to be your own light. And that's why I do this show in the light, because we all have light inside of us when we choose to shine. Every morning we get a rise, but we don't choose our shine, and that sucks. Because then you can be a happier person that doesn't need to run to alcohol to get a smile, that doesn't need to run to somebody else and it's demanding them of their time and energy. You go, you must love me and you got to love me this way. You're like, no, I love myself. I love myself. I love my life. It's been a while since I got to do that. Feels good. And you can get the shirt too now at Saints Addiction because it's live. You know what I'm saying? My life and my website are live because I put into it. You know, I was like, if it hurts, more work gets done. No longer am I the self-saboteur of my life, but I get to do something with energy that affects me, right? If something's affecting me, I become effective. And that's what I wanted people out there to get, was their ability to cognate and rationalize and adjust themselves so they can be happy, healthy individuals. I'm surprised I'm even talking like this. I was shattered last week. I'm still feeling shattered. Like my future was taken from me, but I determine my future, not somebody else. I decide. And as long as I put myself in the power seat, motherfucker, like, what'd you do you did on the weed? Well, me, I decided to fucking get on the business, bro. I decided to update all the packages, and this morning I showed you the Kush soaps and lotions. So we making CBD lotions out here. I'm not just out here doing nothing for something. I'm doing something for all of it. And that's what I wanted people to do, is do something with their lives and take the lemons and make lemonade. It's going to be the hardest things to do, but these are the obstacles of our lives, and we have to adjust to them. We got to figure out a way that we can turn an obstacle into an opportunity. And that's something that we all can do as long as we have mental stability. And that's something that we got to do every morning here at Saints Addiction. You got to get your mental stable on, so you're stable enough to make these pivots and make these adjustments and be able to adapt fast enough. And that's what it's all about. So while you're all hopped up on fast food and alcohol, there will be no quick adjustments. You'll be stuck like Chuck, and I don't want anybody stuck like that anymore. So on my heart from the start, it's your boy Marquis Saint. I'm shining in the middle of the winter, in the middle of the cold, the middle of the street. I'm shining, and that's what I wanted people to do. I get to smoke my blunt and collect my thoughts, and I hope you get to get off this device and go for a walk and go learn something about yourself and go, okay, self, it's the new year, January of 2022. What habits am I going to break? What can I conquer inside myself to bring the best out of myself so I can be ready for that next opportunity? That's a positive mindset. If you're still thinking that the world's against you, and that's pessimism, and you need to go off this show or need to watch us some more. So on my heart from start, your boy Marquis Saint, Saints Addiction, peace and love. And as always, Chigathon. That means goodbye, but now forever and finish. And I will see you on the other side as soon as you like, share, and subscribe.